what is exciting brands and advertisers? What parts of the multiverse really? Around the IPL, we saw a certain kind of buzz. We also saw off-pitch slugfest of sorts. But what is really exciting brands and advertisers, especially in the Indian context?
I think the scale of India is what is really exciting the brands and the advertisers. I think there's never been a better time. There's never been a better time for our market, and some would argue that this is the decade of India, 2030. And we see that, like, even as we started our journey on 23, there are enough and more global headwinds, and we know about the Ukraine war going forever, and we are a part of a larger multinational network, and as part of that, we are fairly connected also to the other operations across.
Absolutely, you basically listen across the world in some ways.
Yes, exactly. So it's 23 has started on a very sober note for globally. Across markets, the economy is having a meltdown in a lot of markets. We've seen the huge technological meltdown that has happened, and trillions of dollars have gone from equity for technology companies. We've seen the Ukraine war is continuing and all of that, right? So it has started on a sober note for a lot of people across the world. We are fortunate that our market, I'm not saying that is totally isolated from it, but it has a huge domestic potential, which it is living up to. So this decade, we expect that the median income of people, as it goes above the $2,500 mark, it is going to mean a lot of growth for a lot of brands and a lot of advertisers. So this market is equally important, not only for all the Indian clients and the Indian new brands which are coming up, but equally important for all the global clients. India is the top market for a lot of our global clients, and towards that, I mean, it's not about a quarter-to-quarter thing, but in the medium to long term, we see huge growth potential.
Since you said medium to long term, how's the short term going to pan out? We've seen a disappointing quarter for whatever reasons, and there are questions being asked. Is this downturn going to get deeper in the Indian context? I don't know if you agree with that. And what do you expect? What sectors do you expect coming back into play in the next couple of quarters?
Surely. So since we are more into, a lot of our clients are more into the B2C area, surely we have a better understanding of that area because we see that on a daily basis. Clearly, there are sectors, especially the tech sector and the app economy clients, which were in fact gave a huge growth in the last 2 years post the pandemic, because we saw exponential growth on digital.
And there was exponential investment also. And the cutbacks are being seen also in jobs, for example, not just ad budgets.
Exactly. But I think if we decode it a bit, you realize that a lot of it is also a function of the fact that when the world came out of the pandemic, it was exponential growth for that part. All right. To start thinking of it that this is the new normal and we are going to grow at 70-80% is also like a little...
Absolutely.
And if you look at all the statements being given by the global technology firms when they are looking at layoffs and all, large part of it, what is underlining it is the fact that they were building their organizations for a different economic reality. So they had expected that kind of thing will continue.
Absolutely. And just to add here, everyone thought the world is now on Zoom.
Yes.
And look at what happened to Zoom share prices. I think that mirrors
yes.
peak digital and what has happened afterwards.
Exactly. So I think some of it is also like, very normal correction. I mean, once people can go out, once people can do things, obviously they're going to buy offline. Obviously they are also going to. So that doesn't mean that the growth has stopped altogether. But if our expectation is that some of those areas need to continue to grow at that level at 60, 70, 80%, then obviously that is untenable. But if you look at a linear line right from over a 10-year period, if you remove from the exceptional bit downturn during the pandemic and the upswing post that, which was a little bit of a reboot, it's on a growth track really. And yes, If we contrast it in a very short period, which is the last 2 years, then we'll say, oh, the things, there are a lot of headwinds. And we see that even for us, for the app economy clients and all of them. So, I mean, there is a funding winter visible. And obviously, advertising and marketing is the first area that sort of gets hit by that. Equally, on the other hand, however, if you look at some of the food and beverage companies and some of the consumer product companies, they are doing excellently.
If you like the video, do like, comment, share and subscribe.